Yes, yes, y'all. It's been a long time coming. The Last of Us review of episodes 7, 8, and 9. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing really good, man. I'm excited to talk about these last three, this trilogy of episodes.
The trilogy.
It's been a long time coming. Yeah. So first, let's start off and shout out to the creators of the show. And the composer too. But yeah, shout out to Neil Druckmann.
Craig Mazin.
Out to Craig Mazin, and then shout out to Gustavo Santolaya, who made the soundtrack for the game originally and lended some of his talent for the show too. I think those three things, and of course everybody else together made a standout show. But yeah, those three elements really made the magic happen, in my opinion.
If I was Craig, I'd say amazing. I'm so amazing.
Yeah, man. I just think it's cool how he was riding high off that Chernobyl show, and HBO just gave him whatever choice he wanted to make, and he decided to make that. So
it's funny because they said at the very beginning that he told Neil Druckmann basically, I got him in my pockets. We can make it happen. So that's cool. So the first... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, man, great show through and through, and just really excited to talk about these last three episodes. What a way to build to the finale, man. It was great all the way through, in my opinion.
So where we left off last time was Joel had gotten stabbed, and he's in a coma. Basically, right? He's in a coma.
Yeah.
And that led into the DLC Left Behind, which is a little backstory episode for Ellie. And it centers around her and her adventures with her friend Riley. But they added a little bit of extra content to this. They show her at Fedra School.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that little extra tidbit they threw there in the beginning, just to kind of give Ellie even more depth to the character, from the way she was raised, running around that track. Yeah. What did she have, a Walkman? Right? Chilling with the Walkman, and Pop the Girl comes over and starts some stuff, and she just decks her.
Picking on her.
Yeah, and much like any other time we've all been to the principal's office, it kind of sets the scene for her. And I really like the setup that I guess I'll say principal or the director kind of has, and he tells her, like, I see a lot of good in you. I see that you can either have this, and he's like waving the keys, or you can go do something else. And so it shows that people around her see that she's like an intelligent person, has potential, but still has like a rebel streak.
Yeah.
Don't we all with the rebel streak?
The rebellious stages of our lives. Yeah. So they kind of do a little foreshadowing with saying that, and as we progress through these next couple of episodes, we'll dive into that. But yeah, he's letting her know, hey, you got something. And you're basically, your life is what you make it. You can be a leader, or you can be a follower. Or you could be worse than a follower. You could be stuck doing all the crap jobs that nobody else wants to do.
Yeah, that's literally what he says. You can do this, or you can have the...
Yeah. You do this the easy way or the hard way. The choice is yours.
Okay, slick back.
No, that's what's his name? Fleece Johnson.
Oh.
Yeah. Who is a real person, by the way. But yeah. So they cut to her at night in her room after having that discussion with, I forgot the gentleman's name now. It feels like it's so long ago since I've watched it. But they cut to her in her room, and just like the game, Riley pops in through the window and surprises her.
While the combat posters on the wall.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part about that scene, the way they threw that Mortal Kombat poster in there.
Yeah. It kind of throws back to when she was mentioning it before in one of the earlier episodes.
Right. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So then Riley comes in and she asks, tells her, hey, I want to take you out, have a good time. What was it? How many wonders was it? I always forget this.
Yeah, we forgot about this. It was like 8 wonders.
Yeah, something like that.
I think so.
And little inside baseball here to our listeners. We've had the pleasure of recording this twice because the first time the recording got really bad. So this is a redo. But
yeah, it happens.
It happens. But anyway. Yeah, so she basically says, hey, let's go to the mall, or let's go somewhere. She didn't even tell her it's the mall. I don't recall. And they're gonna go look at these wonders. She's gonna show her these wonders. And so
four wonders.
It was 4.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I get 8? I'm thinking of like the ninth
the
wonder,
8 wonders of the
eight
world.
Wonders of the world. And I was going to say ninth wonder, the producer. Hip hop. Yeah. So they go to the mall, and I mean, what I really dug about that is that it's almost, scene for scene what you see in the game.
I do have a question. That part where they walk past that, I think it was a soldier, who they found with like the liquor and the sleeping bottle.
When they go into the mall?
Yeah, I don't recall that part. Was that part in the game?
I don't either. I was thinking of more the backdrop and the way the mall looked. I mean, even Ellie's room, I think, looked kind of like that in the game as well.
Nah, yeah.
Those little details. Now, Riley didn't look exactly like Riley in the game, but, the actress did a solid job. So,
yeah, there's a fun dynamic there. You see that they have a friendship established, and they're crossing the buildings like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
just walking around, just trying to kind of set the background and the tone for the episode, really.
Yeah.
And then when they break into the mall, it's like this great reveal because these kids have never seen a mall active before, and it is like a miracle that they can just power on this whole thing, and it's just like a turnkey mall for them.
Yeah.
It was boarded up, right? They weren't allowed like in the malls at all. Not only to see one up and running, but just never seen anything like that. All those stores.
Well, and it's this is probably me overthinking it, but you would think they wouldn't have enough juice left to be able to power on a mall. It's a lot of stuff.
It's a Fedra town, right? So it's government run, so they have better access, and like that town we'll talk about in Wyoming, I think, a little later.
Jackson.
Or is it Jackson? Yeah. When we get there, so they just have better resources than that.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what I kind of.
It's just it's just plot armor. That's what it is. It's just convenient for the story. This town's put together pretty much, and there's still a mall that you can run a power drop to.
Hey, don't focus on that. Focus on the story. Yeah, that's what they're telling you with that.
And I think it was easy for this episode to get lost in the story and not ask all those questions. I think it was a good a sidetrack. There was 2 sidetracks in this season.
Mm-hmm.
And this one was, I guess, more faithful to the game because it still draws from the source material from the game.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was a good not a segue, but a good side quest. Just, because you have it all set up to where it will go back eventually into the present day, but it's nice to establish why Ellie is the way she is or what she had experienced before these whole events.
Right.
Yeah, and it's nice. It's a nice episode. It's like an easy breather compared to most of these episodes. They've been all stressful, but this one at the beginning was just it was a story of young love and a couple of other things.
Yeah, showing her being a kid again,
innocence, right? Yeah,
that innocence.
Actually,
somewhat as innocent as you can be.
Yeah, in this time and the way they're being raised.
Yeah,
so they get in the mall, they turn it on. And it's funny. The first thing that wows Ellie is what the escalators,
moving stairs.
so menial to us, right? Like,
Right,
yeah.
don't touch it. Like when you get on an escalator, don't touch the rail. Now it's like, just lit her up. Riley, that's not even one of the wonders, but we can add it to the list, I guess.
Yeah. That was funny. She's just like, oh, they keep going.
That shows you that generation is just so removed from where the world was before.
Mhm.
Never seen an airplane flying in the sky kind of people, you know?
Right.
Like, so yeah, the escalator was amazing for Ellie. And yeah, the whole thing was just, it was kind of poking at the viewer too, letting them know that, you know, this world is gone. These kids have never seen these things. So this is what's amazing.
Right. That like you said, Trey, that innocence. Just the wow, marvel at it. So the first wonder, I'm trying to remember what it was now.
The carousel.
I thought that was second. Am I wrong?
I thought it was the carousel.
You might be right.
I know they like went through all the stores and they saw things. Like I remember them seeing like the Victoria's Secret and stuff. But I don't think any of those are wonders. I think the first thing they get to is the carousel, and then it's their first little hint at a young romance.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that was in there. It was it's a very nice moment, I think. They're sitting there on the carousel, taking shots of, or sips. They ain't taking shots. They're taking little sips of the liquor and just
yeah. The bottle that they got off the dead guy.
Yeah. They're like, well, I mean, he ain't gonna be using it.
Drinking
Try this out. See what the adults are doing. Yeah, it's kind of magical.
That was the first one. The second wonder was the photo booth, which is pretty important in the game too. That has that whole scene where they're taking pictures.
Yeah.
Well, real quick before we move to the second wonder completely, there was that little look that Ellie kind of gives Riley as she's going through the carousel, like, I see you.
I think we've all been there as teenagers, having our first date at the mall or the movies or the mall movies.
Yeah. This is one of those looks like, all right, I'm impressed. What else you got? Okay.
I think I like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I like it in that shit. Yep. So now,
there's a lot of that.
The photo booth, which it's kind of like Lady and the Tramp with the spaghetti and the meatball, right? Moving closer, a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Not quite as close as what happens in that scene, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's all right. Let's take some crazy pictures together. Let's take some really nice pictures together. So yeah, that was a cute little moment.
It's cool little, again, a normal kid in the mall moment. It's nice.
Man, I honestly have forgotten about those personally. It's like, oh yeah, we used to do that too.
Yeah. They're really out of date because what do you do now? You just take a picture with your phone. Yeah,
it's like, why am I going to pay a machine to do this? I can just. It's kind of a novelty thing that those things you'll find at like a maybe a Dave and Buster's or a main event, someplace like that. It's like, they still make these. Why?
Yeah, I bet you anything they just email the pictures to your phone now because that device probably can do that.
Right. They're like, hey, we'll text you and then we'll have your number and send you a whole bunch of promo.
Yeah.
Forever.
But that's beside the point.
Right.
But yeah, that was. I also wanted to mention at the carousel they were playing that very that musical version of The Cure, Just Like Heaven, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like it was played on xylophone or bells or something. But yeah, that was kind of cool.
I did not catch that. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It was The Cure. I was like, hey, it's The Cure. My spooky goth radar turned on. I was like, hey, that's The Cure. I'm sad.
I would have been waiting for a forest to kick on.
Oh, pum pum.
I love that song.
Pum pum. Yeah, that would have been later.
Yeah, or Burn. Yeah.
Yeah, we should talk about The Crow on Halloween.
Yeah, we should.
That's a suggestion.
Yeah. So there's that fun, heartwarming, touching moment. Then we move into a third wonder. That was the arcade.
Yeah, that's where.
No, that was the last one, wasn't it? 'Cause the mess shop was
the
like-
last one was where they're at the end.
Yes, yes.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So yeah, this is the third one here, or the
And
fourth
this-
one if you count the escalators and you make 5.
True. Yep. So this is where, again, they make a deep cut within the show, reference to Mortal Kombat, because they play Mortal
Yeah, they
Kombat,
actually play the game. Yeah.
which is interesting because now that you mention that, I'm like, wait. She had a Mortal Kombat poster. Did she just like the poster, or did she actually play the game? Now you guys are making me think.
I feel like
Probably just had.
this was at least Ellie's first time playing the game because I'm pretty sure she lost like
Hmm.
the first couple of times. My real question is like, where'd they get the quarters? But
Well, she could open up the change machine. She had to just bust it open.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
yeah. They did that on the episode, but also like, yeah, Mortal Kombat just gave me waves of nostalgia. It was like the loudest arcade machine in the room. Like whenever you go to an arcade and when they turn it on, it just goes wow. I was like, oh, dude, I'm taken back. Like too.
That one in Ninja Turtles was loud too.
Yeah, like just big arcade attractions.
Yeah.
They don't even have that anymore. I don't even know if y'all remember like the Parapple County Fair here in town. That was like a big place that had arcade games like to the walls.
Oh
But
man,
yeah,
that was man.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I vaguely remember it, man. It's God. That hasn't been around since like
for a long
99,
time.
right? 98?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since like before I started school, yeah. But that gave me those feelings of just like being little, playing games, having a good time. And yeah, and you get that first slice of not all is good in the kingdom, like there at the arcade, because it pans out to the infected guy that's bolted up to the wall.
Yeah. He's like, ooh, I hear noises.
Yeah,
Yeah, he kind of twitches a little bit. Yeah, it kind of gives you that indication that, ooh, this is going to pay off later.
He pulled the Prince and the Dave Chappelle move.
He did a little twitch. Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised. I wonder if like Fedra or the Fireflies went through and cleared that place out, and they just missed that guy because
Yeah, I
I'm
was gonna say,
surprised
or
there's
so they
not.
thought.
I'm just surprised there's not more infected in the building with all them loud lights and noises.
That is rather surprising, you know. And just as another thought on that, to add to what you're saying, Trey, is I didn't really notice his clothes, because the reason why I bring that up, because now I'm wondering, like, was that a Fedra guy who just left, who was infected? It was like, I'm going here.
Well,
Nobody goes to the mall.
yeah.
I'll be by myself. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah, and to be honest, he wasn't like a clicker, so he hadn't been there too long, because over time they just become
Wasn't he?
clickers.
He wasn't a clicker.
He
No.
was just infected.
Yeah, no, he wasn't
He was
running.
kind of
Yep. Just
he was a runner, just with a little bit more of a flourish on his head.
Yeah.
But yeah, he hadn't been there too long, so that those questions are food for thought.
Yeah. So, moving along, they go to the food court, and that's where Ellie discovers the pipe bombs and whatever
Yeah.
that she's making, and finds out that the reason why she wanted to take her out is because she's going to Atlanta for Fedra, and she wanted to see, she being Riley, Riley wanted to see Ellie one last time, but then also make the proposal, like, you trying to roll?
Yeah, that's where that discussion of like black and white shows up too. They're like on different sides of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both indoctrinated. They're both little kids, so they don't really know what like the gray areas are. So one of them's taking a hard stance against it. The other one's like, it's not that bad. And they bring up Marlene in passing, but you know, there's a division now there because of the sides that they chose to be on, and that's like the first indication of them kind of just having a disagreement. And it has a like break up with your girlfriend at the mall kind of thing feel. But yeah, she walks away. You have a long cut of her just walking all the way down back to the entrance where they broke in. And then she hears that scream.
Yep. And the scream ends up being a little fake graveyard Halloween toy kind of thing. It's basically like a spirit store that she's at, or a what's the Halloween place? Spirit.
Yeah, the spirit store.
Oh yeah, okay, it is Spirit. Okay, I was gonna say Hot Topic, but yeah. It's definitely not.
That's a year-round Halloween story. Yeah. But I was going to point out too, it's interesting how Riley gets very small, like in that moment when she's kind of defeated. Like she's a big, boisterous personality, and when it doesn't go her way or she might have met some opposition, she gets real small and she's crouched up, like when Ellie comes back to the Halloween store trying to save her. But even then, she's just still kind of sitting there like defeated, like this was the last wonder.
Well, and I think part of it because she didn't want to hurt her. We noticed what we noticed in the vibes, right? I mean, we also have all had the advantage of playing the game, but I think even Ray Charles could have seen that. There was there's a little bit of romance in the air. So
yeah, young love, it's tumultuous.
Part-time lover. Yes, I know that's Stevie Wonder. Don't kill me.
But they what was the song that they played on the Walkman?
Oh man,
I don't know
I
what it
forgot. I totally
It was just
forgot.
it was just a fun dance song, and it sets up that whole thing. Like they put on their weird masks and start dancing. It's just very awkward teenage vibes.
I don't remember. Did they wear the mask in the DLC? Or did they just
don't know.
dance?
No, I think they just danced in the
Okay.
DLC. And one thing about that last part that you're talking about, I think she talks about asking Marlene if Ellie can go and her shutting them down. Like, nah, she can't go. Which I wonder was if it was a just no, you can't go because you're a soldier and that's not how you roll, or if
There was
Marlene
other plans
remembers,
for her.
yeah, or Marlene remembers Ellie from, she's got to know her history, right? Well, she does. So, which you find out later. So, just some food for thought.
Yeah. So they're dancing, shaking their booties, having a good time, and then the magical kiss happens. Oh gosh, guys, it was so beautiful.
I know-
I'm playing.
I know you covered your eyes and bit your pillow when you saw it. You're like,
Covered my eyes and bit my pillow. Wow.
yeah, something like that.
Wow.
But yeah, it shows that they're that they do have more than just a friendship.
Right. And then when she kisses her, she's like, what is it? Ellie kisses Riley. She has that, oh, snap. I did that to you. And then Riley's like,
Yeah.
nah, shorty, I liked it. I didn't tell you to stop. And so you're like, oh, it's beautiful.
Right.
And
That'd be a
then
beautiful ending, right? If it
Right.
wasn't The Last of Us.
Then you hear, of course,
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
and the infected comes out and attacks them.
Yeah, dude, it's such a fast scene. It's like crazy and messy, and the camera works masterful right there because it captures that chaos, man.
And it goes down quick.
You know?
I mean, that whole, like you said,
Yeah.
that's that whole situation. Like it goes from awe to oh shit, like really fast. Like you're just going, oh shit. No, that's not good. That's not good. Run away.
Yeah, it reminds you what show you're watching. Yeah, it's very on brand for the IP to
Yeah.
do something like that. But yeah, they have that moment where they realize that we defeated this thing, but we're both bit now, and that's like the worst feeling in the world. Like you see Ellie's rage come out, and I think for the first time you see Ellie express like a very like inordinate amount of rage. She's like breaking all the glass on the display cases.
Yeah.
And you see Riley get small again.
Well,
That's
because they got scratched, bit, whatever. So we kind of skip straight to that. But yes, they kill the infected. They both reveal that they've been hit, bit, scratched by this infected, and then they decide rather than taking matters into their own hands or one do the other plus themselves, they're just going to let it ride out and see what happens. And the episode ends. And excuse me, you're right. Well, let me for those of you who can't see us, Carr shook his head no, because I got a little bit ahead of myself. Let me make a minor correction. In the game, it's done. They don't actually show her, you don't know what happened. You know, Riley it turns and obviously is not around anymore. But they don't show that Ellie killed her or she killed herself or anything like that. However, in the TV show, they kind of let you leave on that note and then go back to Ellie reviving Joel.
Yeah. And I think you can kind of infer there at that moment that she was thinking about the last time she lost somebody she loved, right, in that whole moment where she makes a very quiet choice to either abandon Joel or go back and try and help him. And I think in that moment when she has that flashback, however brief it is, she makes that decision to try and do whatever she can to save him.
Yeah.
And she finds like a needle and thread in a drawer and sews that poor dude back up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which leads us into episode 7.
Yeah, this episode was
8.
very... Yeah, this episode was good. I liked it. I think best pre-finale you can get, like when it comes, you know, like on an episode before a finale, you get a little bit of heat, you get a little bit of excitement just before the season finale. This was like a perfect blend of all those things, and there's a lot going on there.
I know the word penultimate, is it intended to be like a sizzle word? It's just what it is, you know, second to last thing.
Yeah.
But this was the penultimate episode. To me, that was the best episode since probably the first, or maybe, you know, the 2 that had Sam and Henry. Those are pretty high up too for this season. But, you know, you go to Ellie, who's hunting and trying to find food for she and Joel. They're out there holed up in the winter, wherever they are. I forgot where they are. Are they still in Colorado? Yeah, they are in Colorado. They're out there in Colorado. She's trying to hunt for a deer, spots it, kills it, or shoots it, excuse me, and it runs off. So now she's got to trail the deer. And that's where there is a little bit of a complication.
Yeah, because I think it's earlier in that episode, they really kind of give you the overview. Does it open, or when does it cut to that shot where they have that banner on the wall?
It's a little later.
Is that a little later?
It's a little later.
When they're talking about...
Yeah, because they don't even introduce the characters until they run into Ellie.
No, because they have that... No, I thought they had that town meeting, and the dude questioned him, and then he's like, we're going hunting. And then that's where
you're right,
make the connection to Ellie, because they have like that town meeting and they're talking about the passing, and she's like, when are we going to bury my dad? He's like, the ground's too hard. No, that part is later, maybe.
There's 2 scenes like that. I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
though. Yeah, because there was an introduction to the community before they converge on Ellie.
Yeah.
And that cuts away while Ellie's kind of frantically trying to track this deer or elk or whatever it is.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it opens that or if that where it gets into.
I can't remember either. It's been weeks since I watched the episode.
No, I think that's how it went, because you do get the introduction to what's going on in the area with the people at that resort,
right?
You know?
Yes. So the young lady's looking for justice because the man that Joel killed, protecting himself, mind you, was her dad. And she says to David, who's the leader of these people, you know, she wants, what are they going to do about the man that killed her father? She wants her revenge, basically. And she gets slapped by David. He's like, chill, player. Chill. I have a plan.
Sorry, I'm like,
hey, see,
it has that banner.
And
we are all in need. He shall provide.
Yeah, and I'm being a little silly about it, but he is on the surface calm leader, and usually in shows and movies like this, There's always a catch, but he's just very even. Even after he slaps her, he's just like, calm yourself. You know, like it's eerie.
Yeah, there's a duology in him.
Oh, absolutely.
Or a duality, rather. Yeah, there's a duality in him, and he leans heavy onto the faith, and you can see that on the outward surface, he's like a man of God, and he has these people wrapped around his finger because he has like a calming, fatherly presence for the most part.
Yeah.
Until things get bucked, you know.
Yeah.
But that's when we get him still putting on that facade. Whenever he meets Ellie, he's like the master kind of negotiator in those situations. He's like an icy kind of guy who can navigate through these waters. And yeah, they form a hunting party to try and go out in there, and they find this dead animal. And to him, it's just strengthening his call for faith in his people.
Yeah.
And the people just kind of, you know, take that as a plus for him in his kind of points. So that all happens, and it kind of raises morale a little bit where they find this animal, but also they find the kid who did the bad thing, or who was with the guy who did the bad thing to somebody of their flock. And that is not known at that time, but you find that through the scene developing. And shout out to Troy Baker. He was a good guest character on the show. That's the original Joel.
Yep.
It was really cool to see him. Another one of those finger pointing at my screen. I was like, "Hey, that's Troy Baker."
Yeah,
so that was fun.
What is it? What's his name? Leonardo.
The Leo. Yeah, just hey, yeah. I do that all the time. But yeah, that was really cool. And you see it set up just like in the game. Like she is pointing guns at these grown men, just really putting on a big, tough kind of exterior.
Yeah,
barking them around, trying to get stuff to happen. And Troy Baker goes away. Yeah.
Back up.
Yeah, she's swearing at him. She's just, you know, trying to be bigger than what she is. And once again, David's cool like a cucumber.
Mm-hmm.
Tells his hunter guy, his name was James. Yeah, tells him to go get some penicillin. They make like this weird little trade arrangement for them to get the half of the deer or what have you. So that sets the scene for those two characters to be alone inside of like an abandoned house. And I remember in the game that scene, I hated that whole section because there was like runners and clickers and bloaters and everything going on before it went to the next part of the story. But this one was just a little bit of alliteration, like a little bit of story, a little bit of pushing. And yeah, they're gathered around the fire, they talk, and then you hear that David knows who she is and brings up who she was with and what had been done. And that freaks out Ellie, like freaks her out to the point where she's about to run, but you get James back into that house pointing a gun at her.
Yeah, he got the drop on her.
Yeah, they got the drop on her, and then David cuts it. Yeah, David cuts it short. He's like, "Don't do that. Give him the penicillin to run," because he knows he had already set the pace for this whole thing. He was going to go with his party to go track her down.
Yeah, he's like, no, let her have it, because the end game is we're going to kill the guy that killed our guy.
Yeah, so they were just going to have her lead them to Joel. So
you can say he's pretty hungry for justice.
Yeah, and he's just very skilled like that. You can see he's got a lot of moving parts to his brain, and it's kind of scary.
He's looking for a little
justice with a side of spaghetti.
Shout out to an old not BuzzFeed, or those videos back in the day, not Vimeo, like Daily Motion and all that. But I mean, if TikTok goes away, I think now is as good a time as any to bring Vines back. But yeah, so that's what he's looking for, a little justice. And Ellie goes back. She gives Joel the penicillin. She tells him, she gives him a gun. And it's weird. Like, they switch roles.
She gave him a knife, huh? Was it a gun or a knife?
Sorry, it was a knife. You are correct. I said gun. Excuse me. She gives him a knife. And she's just basically warning him, hey, there's people coming. Protect yourself. I'm going to paraphrase because I can't remember the exact words. But basically, hey, stuff's about to get real. Anybody comes down here, do your thing. Go into kill mode. And what I was saying is funny is because they literally switch places where, you know, Joel would tell her to hide, but, you know, but maybe protect yourself. She's saying, look, hide. yes, protect yourself. So she's basically going to try to run interference and lead him away. And she gets out of Dodge and she hops on that horse. And
All this horsepower, got horsepower.
that's right, all that horsepower. And she starts off strong. And you're like, okay, look at you, Ellie. All right, I see you. And then the horse gets popped.
Yeah, just right into the middle of this whole thing. And
Yeah.
I'll say briefly, horses do not get a good fate in any of the Last of Us series. I'll just put that out there right now.
Yeah.
So we can touch back on that about a year. But damn, horses don't got it good in this world.
Like if you're a horse, you are not long for this world.
Yeah, or if you're a horse person, sorry.
Yeah. Like I have the.
But yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna make an MF Doom joke. I have the horse meat chalupa. But anyway,
That's pretty much what happens. Yeah, they blow that horse's head out, and then they have another animal that they can feed the flock with, and then they kidnap Ellie. Well, they don't kidnap her; they just imprison her.
right.
And then we get to the next big juicy scene of this community. You see somebody cutting up a mysterious red meat and putting it into a magical stew. And yeah, I don't know about y'all, but that meat just looked off. Like when I saw it in frame and everything, it was just colored really bright red. It just didn't look good. There was every kind of effort on the editing and directorial like efforts to just like make this thing look unappealing for a reason too.
Well, and I think about it now. So in retrospect, the wife of the man who was killed by Joel asked, "What kind of meat is this?" David just says, "Venison."
Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah. That was her.
Yeah,
dude.
But just the way she asked it, like you don't think anything of it at the time, unless and I'd forgotten that spoiler. Well, not even spoiler. They're cannibals. That's why the meat looks a little funny. They're eating people, and so when you think about it now, her asking that question, it was to drop that hint on you, like, yeah, it looks funny, doesn't it? Does that look like venison to you?
I hope they caught my hungry for justice joke earlier.
Right.
Yeah, dude, that is the part that sticks out to me the most in this episode, that they made that very concentrated like choice to show you that as a viewer, like, oh, this is kind of funny, something strange.
Like that ain't right.
And you see a shift in dynamic. Well, no, you don't see a shift in dynamic power. You see a power that comes out of David during their dinner time, and that's the heavy part. Like that's when you kind of see the community is not only following him, they're a little bit afraid of him because they don't eat before he does.
Yes,
he sits down in front of the young lady that he smacked in front of the mom and everything, and yeah, as soon as they say their prayer and do everything, it's go time and everybody's chowing down. And I don't know, like I feel like the sound design too was also intentionally made to gross you out because you're just plates clacking, you hear a bunch of stuff, you hear meat, like you hear people eating, and usually that should sound like a warm kind of inviting thing, but since you kind of get these like clues about what's happening, it really just grosses you out. Well, it grossed me out at least.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And good call out on the we wait for the leader to eat. It's like giving the okay. I'm pretty sure the ones who didn't know had an idea. And this ain't no meat I ever eaten.
Yeah, there was like 6 people in that room that were going, all right, let's just eat.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but with a scene they showed later in the episode, I kind of questioned that because they had like stacks of bodies.
Yeah, a lot of people like hung up like deer,
yeah,
like venison, like getting prepared. And yeah, you saw that too.
So it's got to be something they've done before, I think.
Yeah, it's real deliberate. It's real deliberate how they show you all these things and how it's kind of a quiet, open secret,
But to get to that room, it goes back to Joel having to defend himself with that knife that Ellie gives him. This is one of my favorite like parts of the episode for sure, but maybe like one of my favorite Joel moments in the series. Like, it just shows you his brutality.
And
You
in
gotta
the
think
game
about-
itself.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
It parallels that really well.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
but he's just on survival instinct at this point.
True, fight or flight is real activated with him right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather him than me.
But yeah, he just wakes up from his stupor and just is magically somewhat better to walk around and perform crazy acts of violence on these people. And then one of my favorite scenes from the game comes up like pretty much scene for scene in this, where he stabs that guy in the knee.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll
Yes.
pop your
Yeah,
kneecap
man.
off. Show me where your town is on the map. Show me where the
The
resort's
whole
at.
knife with the map. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the same thing he did to those old people a couple episodes ago. Was that beginning of episode 6, I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
When he catches them in their cabin. But this was like you see how he really played that. He was giving them the easy level. They weren't. There was no problems there.
Yeah, this was something that he had done before many times, and it's really cool to see it play out in two kind of different levels of intensity.
And going back to episode 6, those two people real quick, the way they acted was so nonchalant. Like, they're like, look, we're old, man. This world sucks. If you're going to do it, do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Compared to these guys that he's torturing, who are like, no, man, no, bro, no.
That old lady was funny, man.
Yeah, she was.
But it's just crazy, man. He gets that guy to point to the spot on the map and kills him. He's like, yeah, he was telling the truth. He would have told you the truth. We would have told you the truth. Yeah, I believed him. Pop, kills the other guy.
Well, when that guy said, I'm not telling you anything.
Oh, is that what he said?
That's what he said to the
Yeah.
that's the guy said it to Joel. I'm not telling you anything. It's like, it's
All
all
right.
right.
It's all right. I believe him.
I believe him.
Yep.
Boom, out of there.
Yep. Out. And then you get to the town, or going back to showing the town, and Ellie having mind games be played with her by David. And they kind of show some other tendencies when her hand's on the prison bar and he touches her hand real softly, and then she breaks his finger, to which he has to grab her and slam her head against the pole or the bars. And that scene was a slow burn chill. I liked it. That was, I don't remember that scene in the game as much because it's been so long, but the way they played it out, I was like, where's this going? I'm intrigued. And I didn't
Was that before or after she tried to steal the keys? She tried to steal the keys, right? Or was that just in the game?
She did. She tried to steal the keys. I think by breaking his finger. If I'm not if I'm not mistaken.
Was that all together? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it shows you that other layer of David, that stuff where he starts kind of maybe trying to groom her a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to use that word, but yeah, he says all these weird affirmation things like, "Oh, I know you're smart. We could do this together."
Yeah. Another
And
person who
you're
sees
right.
something in her. Next episode.
Yeah,
Last
it's just
episode.
another one of those things. Yeah, you see how that could be used against somebody, but she's just too savvy for all that. And what she's been through, especially, she just knows what's going on. And yeah, she tries to make her breakout right there, and it doesn't work. And then also she sees an ear on the floor, so that really confirms to you that, oh man, they're eating people.
Yeah, she calls that out. You sick fuck, you're eating people.
Leaves nothing to the imagination.
It was that was a great part of the great part of the thing. And then that's when the heated decides like, okay, nah, she's got to go.
Yep.
Like, yeah, okay, she's got to go. She knows too much.
So they bring her out
Too
on
much too soon.
the cutting board, cutting room floor, or cutting room table, and she did a great job of getting herself free by killing Troy Baker's character, James.
She
Yeah, dude.
did a great job with the mind games. It wasn't really mind games. I'm infected.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
They get him to stop swinging that goddamn butcher knife, and then takes advantage of it once they start looking at the bite and realize, oh, she is bitten. But even David's like, wait a minute, like this is an old bite. People turn in 2 hours. What the hell's going on?
What's up with you? Yeah.
That was a very clever move on her part to break up the pace of all that. But yeah, it got her moment so where she can cause a little chaos.
She said, "I will survive."
Yeah, and it's really cool. And that scene kind of breaks up a little bit, and you see Joel just going on his rampage in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going hard. He's going like 11.
Well, and he makes that discovery in the freezer, so to speak. You see the horse in there, and then you see humans hanging. It's like that's where
the deer was like on a table.
Say again.
And I said I think the deer was like on a table.
Yeah. Yep.
Their kill shed.
Yeah, exactly. I said freezer, but I mean everything was frozen in there. So
technically, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the frozen kill shed.
Chop them up.
Yeah, and he sees her backpack. Mm-hmm. He sees her backpack, so he gets that call to action within himself to try and save her, and he's further kind of galvanized by that. And you see him kind of head back out and try and find her in this crazy cold and this pitch white. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that scene looks hard, man. Like that cold looks super cold. And I think they really did shoot it in the winter with a bunch of fans and stuff, so they're just freezing their butts off, just trying to get these scenes.
Yeah, I think they shot that in Canada. I might be wrong though.
Yeah, like in a real Arctic winter.
Yeah,
dude. And it's great, man. I love when practical effects come into play for shows like this because you don't have to edit in a bunch of snow.
Yeah, or get a snow blowing machine or whatever, like the fake snow.
Yeah, they look cold, man. They look cold and look like it hurt.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. So now the hunt is on, the chase is on, and this was one of my most favorite set pieces. Even though it's small, that's just the diner. I recall most of this scene from the game, and I thought they did a fantastic job of recreating the feel of and the look of that diner from the game. That was great.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
Yeah,
you got that panic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at this point, like it had the great look, but you still felt that panic for Ellie being chased over by this crazy man. Like, oh man, it was great. It was, again, the recreations are just mind blowing.
So,
here's a fun fact about.
Go ahead, man.
Up?
You got it.
Where's a fun fact about that set piece? They set it up to burn for a long time. Like all the parts that were on fire were made of fireproof materials. And the way they get the fire is they pipe it in with propane. So it was kind of like when you see like those Amish fireplaces that burn forever with the wood, it was just like that, but just set up in a room. So it's kind of cool. That's kind of cool that they managed to just do that without having to get the fire marshals involved too much.
Yeah, or actually spend your money on a set and burn it down.
Yeah, 4 times. Yeah.
Like, oh man, we messed up. All right, let's build this room again.
Yeah, movie magic's cool.
Or CG.
I'm sorry, what were you gonna say? Yeah, same thing. Fake CG fire never is a winner. But yeah, I'm sorry, man. What were you gonna say?
All I was just gonna say was, the claustrophobic feel was awesome. You get that in the game because you only have so much room to work in the diner, and you got this madman chasing you. And that's why, if I can skip to the way I feel about this episode again, even though I mentioned it at the beginning, that's the reason why it's probably my second favorite, because it encompassed so many elements. You had a little bit of what do you call it? I think we skipped a little bit at the beginning, didn't we? Of this episode, like how they when they. No, sorry, I'm getting confused. Nope, I was thinking of the episode before, Wyoming with the coffee. Anyway, so they do a good job of giving you a little action, suspense, horror. There's really no comedy here. There's nothing really jokey about this episode. It is heavier, but they just tackle so many elements, and they have the layers. You got hints at you got the cannibalism, you got the religious thing, right? The culty kind of thing. There's just a lot of different stuff that they hit, and it never feels like too much. And that's a testament to the original game, but then also the team for being able to convert what happened in the game to a wider audience, those who don't care and never will care to play the game. So he's chasing Ellie, and you're like, man, this dude is really getting after it. He's gonna kill her, man. Like you actually feel like she really is in danger, because you watch shows and the hero or the person you're rooting for is they're supposed to win, and it feels like they're supposed to win. To me, no offense, it's like watching the Marvel movie. I'm like, even when Thanos snapped those people, it's like they'll be back. You never really like the stakes always feel low. You're like, they're going to be back. But this, I was like, man, if Ellie gets out of this, she's never going to be the same.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what happens, dude. Like,
yeah,
that whole scene up to the point she's just so vulnerable and weak against this guy, and then something inside of her just snaps.
Yep,
and
he's got her pinned. He's not professes, but he's basically letting her know, like, hey, I want to start a life with you. We could have had it all. Right. There's something a quote that he said about love that I can't remember. We do certain things.
Yeah, we do stuff for love. And he keeps like reiterating that he's like a good person.
Yes, because it's like, are you trying to convince me or are you trying to convince yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, that's heavy, man. Like, all that is a perfect blend for everybody to just stay at the edge of their seats up until Ellie finally handles the situation.
And she snaps and she stabs and there's, oh man, I did get a little grossed out. I was like, okay, I got it. He's dead now. It happens like that in the game too. So, I'm not surprised, but I was still like, I didn't like it in the game too. I was like, I got it, man.
You gotta think about it, man.
Turn the sound effects down.
It's a very realistic game, right? They want you to feel those things, and that's a very realistic result to what could happen in that. You get there, you hit them, you hit them again to make sure, but then like the action of doing that, you just can't stop, and it flashes back to even the violent outbursts that she had in the 7th episode when they got bit. How she just loses it and starts breaking stuff and hitting stuff and keeps going until like, ugh.
Yeah,
that's just a character trait that she has, and it sticks with her. But yeah, the end of all that, like, it doesn't even come down to Joel saving her. He just runs into her at the end of that when she's walking out of the building. And you're right, she is changed forever because of this situation.
And you see the dad come out. It's okay, baby girl. When she walks out of the diner, it's okay, baby girl. Wraps her up, and she's in the shock. She's in the daze. And he's trying to comfort her, and she's still in the moment, in that moment, not the moment that he's in, but she's still inside in her mind. And he has to basically snap her out like, yo, hey, I'm here. I made it.
Yeah, that's where you see the dynamic shift right there.
Which
you see, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
I was going to say, which is weird that it took so long for him to get there, because it was like he was in that town. It's like, I guess all these things are happening so fast in real time. For us as the audience, it feels like forever because they're trying to tell a story. And then you're just in your mind like, where is this guy? Come on and save her,
Yeah, it was a pretty heavy episode. Good ending to it. They're just kind of walking away in the snow and sets up the next one.
Yeah, which, as mentioned, she's not the same. She's numb.
And he is more, he's softer too.
He's trying to be more like a father. He's trying to crack those dad jokes. He's trying to make her laugh a little bit. Trying to be like, hey, kid, hey, how you doing? And she's not having it. She's just, no, I'm good. I am who I am right now, and who I am is messed up. And she doesn't want to interact.
Yeah, that's very interesting to see it play out, because you see Joel kind of laying plans for the future, and doing stuff like that, telling her he's going to teach her how to play guitar, and she's just a little nonchalant about it. Her mind is still somewhere else. And even then, it starts the episode with her staring off into space, and you can assume as the viewer that she's thinking about what just happened.
Allow me to say the title of the last episode we just reviewed, When We Are in Need, because we said Left Behind was episode 7. Now we are into Look for the Light.
I think they should call it episode 8. It's okay, baby girl.
That'd have been cool.
Actually, yeah.
That'd have been a little too on the nose, but yeah, it would have made the fans go crazy.
Yeah, or It's Okay.
Yeah, episode 9. That was a good episode, man. I like the flashback to Ellie's mom.
Oh yeah, we didn't even start there. Yeah, that flashback was amazing. It was like the beginning of the whole story if you think about it.
Yeah.
And it brings it right up to the end.
They give the origin of Ellie, and when I say the origin, not left behind, but how she is immune. She's got it in her. It's the sliver. So her mom's getting chased down by an infected. Her mom wrestles with one, was bit. Her mom cut the umbilical cord, but she was bit before she cut it. So there was a little bit in her blood that transferred to Ellie, which built up an immunity to her, to the disease, whatever. I say disease, but you know what I mean. The virus that turns them into what they are. And so we get the backstory that her mom, Ellie's mom, was friends with Marlene. And Ashley Johnson, who is Ellie in the game, plays Ellie's mom, which was cool how they did that. They kind of saved the best for last, Yeah. The best cameo for last. She tells Marlene, hey, you got to 86 me, man. Like, got to do it. Marlene says she can't do it. Takes Ellie, right? Hands her to a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Get the baby out of here. Finally decides, all right, I'm going to do it. I'll take her out. Turns around. Pop, pop. And kills her.
Crazy dynamic to bring in with Ellie and Marlene with how this is going to play out. Which apparently Ashley Johnson said that was a scrapped DLC. Actually, it wasn't a DLC. It was like a separate, a DLC being made from a separate company that was scrapped for that. It was actually going to be part of the game.
Huh. That's good to know. Yeah, that was cool. I love that they brought it up and you get to see this origin that really sets why Ellie is immune, because you don't get that in the game. You don't even get a sliver of that.
No, that must have been a Craig Mazin. Well, no, you're right. Or excuse me, not a Craig Mazin thing, because you just said that was a DLC. That was scrapped. I was going to say Craig Mazin. He's really smart for doing that. No.
Answers that question. People have been waiting on that question since this game originally came out.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
It's that simple. And you know what?
So that'll probably... Yeah.
I like that. I like that's what they do. There's
that'll probably...
Nothing crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that'll set up like next season. Now that we, the viewer, know why.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, I think that's a good, simple explanation. She got a little bit in her. Oh, okay.
That's good enough.
Yeah. Because it's with shows like this where they say, "Oh, well, the DNA strand," okay. So just keep it simple, man. We're here for the ride. Let's go. So they show that, and there is a little bit for me of a question going back to Left Behind. So it's like, at what point did Marlene give Ellie to Fedra? And then at one point when the stuff with Riley happened, did Marlene go, what? It's time. Or did shortly after Riley died, did Ellie say, you know what? I don't want to be here anymore. let's go see what these Fedra people are about.
I can't remember what episode it was in, but she says somewhere that after being bit, she like goes and searches for Marlene because she doesn't want to. She can't go back to the Fedra school because she doesn't know what to do. So she finds Marlene. Like after, I can't remember if that was a game or if that was in the show specifically, but I do remember that might have been later in episode 9. But I remember that's how she ended up with Marlene. Joel asked her that question, I think.
I don't remember that. Yeah. So many words. So they're moving on. Ellie's stone cold. Stone cold, not the wrestler. But like a glacial wall. She's not having it. And then the beauty. They see
This was nice.
giraffes.
Yeah, dude. That scene, like, 1-to-1 for the game and had a nice warm feeling. And I thought the giraffe was fake and CGI at first, but then I saw the behind the scenes. They actually made like a whole green screen for the giraffe to hang out with the actors.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool. And it kind of brought some of that innocence back, right? For Ellie.
Yeah, you see her face light up when she sees the giraffe. That's
Yeah.
nice.
And now you're like, all right, giraffes. See the town? Welcome to Utah. So
Yes. Yeah.
So they go into town. They're close to where the fireflies are. They get rushed by a group of fireflies who knock Joel unconscious because they didn't realize who he was and who she was. He wakes up. Marlene's there. Hey, it's cool. She's in good hands. We're getting ready to operate. She's going under the knife so we can start working on this cure. And then that's when they delivered the news to Mr. Joel that they've got to get to the cordyceps, right?
Yeah.
Which
So that
it's in the brain.
they think she's got cordyceps growing in her brain
Yeah.
that's making the other cordyceps think that she's a cordyceps. That's why she's immune.
Yep. And Joel puts that together and he's like, hold on. That means you got to cut her dome open. You got to cut her head open. She's not going to survive that.
Yeah, that opens up that whole scene to where I think it could have been played a little bit better or made a little bit better with the whole action thing. Because, yeah, I was expecting some more action with this traumatic thing.
Yeah.
Because he just goes into an automatic pilot kind of thing and starts just murdering people.
Yeah, well, they escort him out, because I think it's funny
They
because
tried to.
they tried to. Marlene's like, hey, you got the license to kill him if he resists. And she even kind of hints at it because I was thinking, of all people, she probably didn't expect to have to owe him anything. She says as such, which was funny. I was just like, yeah, for real, this guy. Because when you think about the job they were given, he was the right guy for the job because of his skill set. He was the wrong guy for the job because of his emotional baggage with his daughter. And
Yeah. And
over time, she became his surrogate daughter. And so that starts what you were talking about, the rage. He's like, no, I don't care what you have. I don't care that she's the cure. This is a kid. I'm not letting another kid die on my watch. That's pretty much what he's saying, You're not going to kill my daughter again. I mean, I'm not like laughing. It's just kind of like that's his mindset. And you're right, man. That action sequence, I wish they would have let that breathe.
yeah, you know what it reminds me of? Like YouTube videos on people that do airsoft for fun.
Yeah.
It sounds dumb, but yeah, it just went by kind of like that. Like they were just popping dudes, but you don't really see the effect and the consequence. And then the sound's diminished, but I guess that does happen when you're in a firefight because gunshots are loud. So
Yeah, and I
maybe
think
that's
it just strengthens the thing you said about the automatic pilot. He just kind of goes on, no sound, no emotion, no time to look at what he's done or worry about or think about any of that. It's just like complete the mission, you know?
Yeah. It's like, it's almost like he blacked out, right? But he's not blacked out because he's doing the things, you know?
Yeah.
He's on the killing spree. I remember, and just a real quick call out, I think the episode episode 6, where they got to Colorado. And I kept mentioning, I thought you had to fight soldiers. This is what I was talking about. I was getting the ending confused. I know there were soldiers. There's people he had to fight. And I thought that was there. And then I thought I was getting it confused with The Division too, because there's a board in that game that's kind of a similar layout that you have to clear. So yeah, man, I felt like if they could have given you another, I don't know, 5, maybe 10 minutes. 10 minutes might be a long time, but at least another 5 to kind of space out some of the tactics and the things that you do. Because when you play that level in the game, man, it's hard.
Yeah, that's the climax. It's the climax of the game. It's the hardest level of the game.
You're not just fighting against mindless things that you got to be kind of quiet for and duck. I mean, these are tactical soldiers that, like, okay, look, the AI is actually working together to kill you. So, AI being the video game.
Yeah, I was disappointed. But the other changes that they made within the series from the game, it kind of aligns with that, like, because they downplay a lot of the violence from the game. There's not as many zombies, clickers. There's not as many encounters with radical people throughout the world. You really only get that in like the episode when they're in Kansas City, and then again with the David thing.
Yeah,
I mean, you have them fighting Fedra at the beginning, trying to sneak out, but they're trying to sneak out, right? So, so it goes with that. But I would have loved to see a bloody rampage, man.
Joel in berserk mode, go.
I feel like when it's set up like this, the way it was edited, I think it's just a means to an end, which is the ending. You know, so maybe if it hung on too much, it wouldn't have given us as much as they gave us for the ending, for the climax.
Well, and the episode is what, 45 minutes?
Yeah, it's under an hour. It's short, and it puts a lot in there.
They'd come through with like an hour and a half episode for this.
Yeah, I mean, they could have easily pushed this to 50, 55 minutes. Let some of that warfare kick in, make it feel huge. But it's just like, all right, yep. Like you said, a car, means to an end. We got to get to him making a decision to off Marlene to protect Ellie.
And just think about how hard it was to get to that hospital once you're in that town when you're playing the game. Like, just getting there is so hard, and then you get there, and then it's a big old thing. Like,
and then Marlene is saying, you know how hard this is for me. Like, it's my best friend's daughter. She got to kill her niece essentially.
Yeah,
to save a bunch of people she don't even know. The human race. That's heavy.
It's a hard truth to bear, and also it's even harder when one person selfishly takes that away from everyone. So this is a show that doesn't end on a positive note. It's a love story, but yeah, they always say it. They always say in the behind the scenes, it's like what you can do badly with love too.
Yeah.
And so Joel as a character is loved by all the fans of any Naughty Dog game. But yeah, he's a character who doesn't escape his complications.
He definitely has his own
he's got his own agenda, he's got his own kind of baggage. He's a complicated character. He's not a hero. Like, even though we all love him and stuff, we all played hours and hours behind the wheel of Joel, it still comes down to that decision. It's a moral decision that he makes that just isn't right.
Yeah.
But he makes it for himself. And you as the viewer, as the player, have to just settle with that. And that's something that a video game didn't do previously. Like from going back to when the game was originally made and when the story originally came out, that's why it like set the world on fire, because it just didn't happen that way for games. You were always the hero. You always got out. You always saved the person that you loved, and you went away on a jet ski to the sunset. Like, I don't know.
There was no different back then. Yeah, morally uncompassed decision when you do that, because I mean that's what Joel does, right? He saves the person he loves, but like at what cost? It's like two equally justified principles that he has, but in the grand scheme of things, one of them is so wrong. But in the moment when you're a person like that, it's like, this is my daughter, basically, is what it kind of turns into.
He's fell in love.
Like I'm saving this little girl that I love. Screw the world. Like, do you blame him for that? Because he's not the hero for that.
He fell in love with the cargo.
Yeah, he redeems nobody except himself in that moment, and even then, he's still kind of lying to himself about it. Like, and he has that thing too where he's driving away from the whole situation. It's not a clean break because he still has a flashback of just straight up shooting Marlene at the end, just saying, "No, you're gonna follow me if I let you live." And then, you know, Ellie wakes up in a hospital gown. She's wondering what's going on, and she asks what happened, and he has to make that choice in that moment to lie. He tells her everything.
I do think we skipped over one of these are probably the last two parts, but another great shot for shot remake of the game is when he busts into the operating room.
Oh yeah, he pops the doctor.
Yeah, and he pops the doctor and unhook her, band her up. He lets the nurses live, I think.
He does.
He killed them too.
Yeah, he does.
Maybe I just killed him in the game.
Yeah, I did. I killed everybody.
I don't remember what I did when I played it.
Everybody's dying.
But
I just love that, man. I love that shot for shot remake again. That's just.
I want to try to play that last scene again, because apparently in the game you could play that entire battle without killing anybody. You can just run through it. That's got to be hard.
Yeah, that's got to be hard. And with the way it sets up everything else in this universe, it's a trip that you can actually do that.
Yeah.
But going back to what were you saying? Going back to the car seat or the car scene.
Carson goes over the car seat. Right, yeah, dude, he just lies to her, man. And that's just like the whole callback to being a parent. Like sometimes you got to lie to protect your kids. And in that moment, he lies to protect what happened. And it doesn't settle well with the drugged up Ellie in the back. Like she just turns around, goes back to sleep, and then we get a time jump after that.
Yeah. And then
the car breaks down. Yeah. The car breaks down. They're hiking into Jackson, and then she finally confronts him and goes like, "What happened back there?" And he looks her dead in the eyes, and he just lies to her one more time. And
there are others like
I don't know if she says in the game, promise me everything that you said that happened with the Fireflies is true.
Yeah. And he just lies. And I don't even know if she believes it at that point, but she makes a decision. Yeah, she makes that choice to believe, to keep it going. And that's the heartbreaking part, and that's the ending. That's the part that it pulls you out of the story by force, and then you have to reconcile with what happened.
Yeah, you have to actually understand or think about the decision that was just made and the gravity of that decision.
Is that how the video game ended too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just with her nodding. Yeah, she just says yes, okay, and then they just walk, and
they keep walking, and that's it.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that there was 8 years between games.
Was it
about 7.
12, 13. What year did that game come out?
It was a 7-year gap. It was from 2013 into 2020.
So think about that. We didn't know if another one was going to come out.
Yeah, no, they don't.
You know?
Yeah, Naughty Dog cooks their games forever. So it was a miracle that they put out so many Uncharted games and all that. And then they gave us that. And they went back to Uncharted for a while.
Yeah, that game's good.
Was Neil Druckmann a part of Uncharted as well?
That was his baby, and then that's how he kind of got into that co-president spot that he's at right now. Yeah, so that was his rise to power for Naughty Dog. But those are great cinematic stories, and I think it set the stage for what they wanted to accomplish with this story. I'm pretty sure this is a story he had developed a long time ago. Had a lot of time to think about it, you know.
Wow.
But yeah, it just ends like that, and then it's followed by that great soundtrack once again, and you just sit there, let the credits roll, and you see all the people that worked hard for this show, and it's one of the one things that came out this year that I really enjoyed and I appreciated, because I love that feeling of having to wait in linear time for a new episode on Sundays. Like HBO still has that magic. They still do that thing where it keeps you like committed to making plans. I love that stuff.
I'm normally like the opposite. I'm like, screw this. I'll just watch it in 4 months. I'll let it all come out. I'll watch it in 4 months and binge it. But this was good. And I watched the first episode and I was like, yeah, if it's okay, I'll just wait for it all to come out. But I was like, oh no, dude, we got to wait. Next episode.
Yeah. For me, it just feels like I'm a part of something, like a part of a group of people that are all reacting to it at once. Like, I like that feeling.
It was fun to watch it with you guys, but I feel like we could have done the same thing. If they released it all at once, like Netflix, we could have been like, okay, let's watch 1 and 2. Then we'll review that. Let's watch 3 and 4 and do it at our own pace. I feel like old media is trying to say, hey, we have slots to fill. We got all this stuff. We need to slowly put it out. So we're going to make you wait. And it's like, to me, Netflix and Amazon, what they used to do is they used to put it all at once. Now Amazon's even doing stuff week to week. And it's like, come on.
Yeah, The Boys last season was weekly.
Yeah, same with Bosch. And I'm like, come on, man, we're past this. Like, I'm responsible enough. It's not your fault that people can't control themselves and binge watch, 24 episodes in 24 minutes. It's like, yeah, you got to have self-control. But no, the experience of watching it with you guys has been fun. And I would say I'll give my rating first. I'd probably give it like a solid 7.75 to 8. I liked it quite a bit. I didn't love it. To me, there are some creative choices that I just didn't like. Namely, hate to sound like a Neanderthal. I wish there was a little bit more action, suspense, horror. Some of the things that made the game. I wish they would have found a better way to translate that to TV. I just wanted a little bit more. I still say this is the best video game adaptation I've seen, probably, if not ever, in a very long time. And I have high hopes for season 2. I'm going to watch season 2. I'm going to play the second game because I haven't played it. I kind of fell off the zombie thing. I was like, I just don't care about zombies, man, anymore. And I still don't, but I do want to see where this goes. So I'll give them kudos for at least getting me back into this property.
I'll go ahead and jump in with my assessment. I'm going to give it a solid 8. It was good. Kind of a short season, 9 episodes. I'm kind of used to 10. But the pacing was good. There wasn't that much left on the cutting room floor. But yeah, there was elements of the game that got taken out. I didn't see a single Molotov. I didn't see anybody listen intently for zombies. Like I was holding L1 forever in that game. Like just listening.
Bow and arrow.
Just like, oh. Yeah, silent kills, bow and arrow. There was just some stuff in the game, I guess, that's mechanical, that's iconic. But that's because as a player, you get to experience those things, and then maybe that doesn't translate well to a show. But they could have probably given somebody a bow and arrow, but it's all right. But overall, it was a solid 8 for me. I can't wait for the next season. I'm in the middle of playing part 2, and it's this whole thing on its own too. And I'm really excited to see what the general populace is going to react to with this next season, because it's.
Yeah, if they haven't played the game, they're in for a surprise. That's for sure.
Yeah. Everybody's in for a surprise.
For me, I'm gonna bump it up a little bit. I give it a solid 9 out of 10 for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason being, as a video game adaptation to a TV show, I don't think it's ever been done better. I don't really think I can name such a high profile video game.
Resident Evil, dude. I'm playing. I'm kidding.
Those
Sorry.
movies are terrible.
Sorry, man.
You're good.
Didn't derail
I love
you.
those games. But
Hey man, I love the Resident Evil games. We can talk about those next. But just solid video game adaptation, man. And the creative choices that were made for the adaptation piece, there's like a couple of areas where I really wanted a lot more action, especially at the end there. But I mean, it's not a video game; it's a TV show. So, and if you get to the real gut of what The Last of Us is, it's a great story with a great action and horror and suspense. And they laid that story out beautifully, I think. So as a person who enjoyed the game, I probably give the game a 10 out of 10, and then this a 9 out of 10 as far as, a great adaptation of that. I'd watch it again. I'm probably going to watch it again when we get towards the end of the year. It's just, I'm replaying the first video game too. I got the remaster, so I'm going to play that. Then I'll probably watch it again. Then I'll play the second one. And I played and beat that. I'll play that again. So I enjoyed it. Can't wait. Can't wait for what else they got coming up, man.
Stay tuned.
really raises the bar. Yeah. I'm excited. We got to come up with another show to watch, but I guess that'll be for another time.
Yeah. We'll have to figure that out. This gives me hope and fear for Horizon.
Yeah.
Because
And they're going to make go for it.
Horizon
No, I was going to say, and Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, my bad.
and God of War.
Oh, man.
And
They are
Fallout.
doing that too.
And are they
And
doing
a
Fallout
show
too?
Yeah, Amazon got
I
that.
never
yeah.
played Fallout.
I don't know how they're going to make a show out of that, but
I never played
there's a lot
Ghost
of
of
stories
Tsushima
in that
too.
world.
Oh, Ghost of Tsushima is beautiful, bro. If you never played that game, get it. You should definitely give that a play. That's a beautiful game to play. Beautiful to look at. Beautiful to play. Great, authentic story.
Single
If you
or
like
multiplayer.
samurais and ninjas, go for it. Really it's like the birth of a ninja. The birth of the ninjas. Like, kind of think of it like that. Like, it's beautiful. It's a fun game, man. Lots of fun.
I'll check that.
Brutal. Don't play it around your kids unless you want them seeing people get beheaded on TV.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, you're slicing people up, bro. It's fun. It's so much fun.
Dang. Okay. Yeah, I hope. I really hope that they do a great job with Horizon, man. I don't know if Netflix is the company for that one. If it was Amazon or Apple, Apple especially, I'd feel a lot better. I'm really surprised Apple didn't snatch that one. I feel like they have the budget to make it what it needs to be. Second would have been HBO. But even HBO is trying to cut corners financially since they merged with, not HBO, Warner merged with Discovery. So we'll see. Any last thoughts on The Last of Us?
Just watch out for the hammer.
The Texas Hammer?
No,
I'm
it's
messing
like I'm Jim Adler.
Just, I don't know. It was great. I love that stuff like this is taking it onto different mediums.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see more things get adapted into different kind of formats. Like, it's a great time for media in this world. Like, we can express ourselves in a bunch of different ways and listen to it or watch it or play it. Like, that's good, man. There's going to be a lot of 80-year-old people that can't play a game and will watch the show and like it and think it's very fine. And that's a good thing. The stories like this should be told because it's better than just the normal stuff you see on TV.
I'm with that. I like that. All right. Well, then let's close this thing out. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for your support. Let us know what you thought about our reviews for this show. Sorry it took so long to get this one out to y'all. As mentioned earlier, we had to re-record this bad boy. So, but you know what? The show was so good and so fresh in our minds. We were able to kind of just basically do it all over again. And I'm looking forward to the next season. I really, really hope they up the ante and I can't wait to compare this to the game. So with that, I'll say peace.